hate to say this, but this is a lengthy video, quite boring but useful. Action is about personal equipment, stuff that I've used over the years, stuff that I found useful, and the main thing is stuff that will keep you safe. Okay, this session is about clothing. Now, there's a whole host of stuff you can wear. Obviously, if it's a lovely summer's day, then t-shirt, pair of trousers, and these are great because these have a zip that will take off the bottom leg and turn into shorts. So these are ideal. I think the main thing to realise is that when you are out sailing, you can get extremely cold very quickly. And so it's always a good idea to have a fleece, some sort of fleece. This one's quite good, it's waterproof, it's windproof, and very, very warm. So we'll put that on, and it's a cold day, you know, I'm fine and I'm happy. Different people experience different temperatures. Some people will be cold even when it's very sunny. And when you're out there, what people forget is that it might be roasting on the beach. There may be people with swimming trunks on, bikinis, you name it. But when you're on the boat, believe me, you'll be dressed something like this. It's very rare that you'll be able to take your t-shirt off or wear shorts. Mainly, the majority will be sorted when you're wearing a fleece or a few layers, big thick layers like jumpers, like the old fishermen's jumpers and stuff like that. They're not really good for sailing at all. They're too heavy. If you fell in, you would have serious trouble. Best to have lots of thin layers, lots of t-shirts, lots of thin layers, lycra, stuff like that, which is tight fitting and will warm the body up quite well. What you don't want is wetsuits because they're very restrictive. They pull on your arms. That you look at a wetsuit, it's like that. And you try moving your arms and you're working against it, so you'll tire yourself out very quickly. We don't wear wetsuits. What we do wear is a whole host of stuff. Waterproof trousers, great. If you can get those, fantastic. You know, an anorak, some form of waterproof covering, a waterproof jacket is good. With a hood on is even better. The other thing you need, obviously, when you're sailing, is a hat. And there are a variety you can get. This is one I particularly like. One, it keeps the sun out, it keeps the shade on the back of my neck, and also I can pull it up when I need to. And this one was quite cheap. This is not one of those expensive ones, but they are very good to wear, and they're excellent. You can get the peak cap, which is essential because you'll be looking into the sun often. So the peak caps are good, but that one covers all angles. And salopettes, these are ideal, certainly for sailing. They're ideal for going out in the mud, in the water, out in your dinghy, where you're not going to get wet. The majority of the time you're going to get wet is when you're going out towards the boat or coming back in at the end of the day, and that will be when you're in the dinghy. These are good. It's taken me years to build up this equipment, so you know, don't think, oh yeah, I need to go and get all this now. I made do with cheap waterproof trousers, overalls, and as I say, fleeces, waterproof jackets. But this is the sort of stuff, if you can get it, great. If you've got the money, you want to splash out, you need birthday presents, Christmas presents, put these on your list. There are a range of quality. You can get cheap ones, but these I got last year, and these are really warm, very waterproof. I did Scotland in these, and these kept me very, very dry, even when it was pouring down most of the day, as some people will vouch for. And that was the difference, really. Having good quality stuff means you stay dry for longer. Plus it's got nice pockets, put stuff in, put your phone in, stuff like that you want to keep dry. Again, if it's really cold, you just put your fleece on. But then the main thing is you got the fleece on, and then you're fairly warm and dry. That's good. But then again, another piece of kit that's well worth investing in as far as I'm concerned. The majority of the times I've been out, and this again has saved the day. It's warm, it's visual, it's easy to put on, take off, don't have any problems with ventilation, it breathes, and also I think the main thing is all the time you can take this right the way up, and it's got a hood you can put over the cap as well, and that will keep you extremely dry. You know, and I think that's something again that is worth looking at. If you can afford it. If you can't, a simple, you know, waterproof jacket will be fine with a cap. It's up to you. It's for your comfort. You invest in what you need. This obviously is something for offshore, and again, that kept me really dry throughout the whole of the Scottish trip, which was very, very wet. I think in terms of footwear, there's a range of footwear you can get, and I think one of the ones again for cold weather are these boots. Differences between sailing shoes, boots, footwear is underneath. You get these very small ridges, and they're essential for non-slip on the boat, because your boat is very slippy, and you'll find that you get a lot of water on the top of the boat, you put your foot down, you go flying if you haven't got the right footwear. It's essential that you get footwear that's designed for boats. You can wear a whole host of stuff, people wear trainers, etc, etc, but you will find them slipping all over the place. If you get purpose-made footwear for your boat, you'll be okay. I'll show you another. You can get cheap deck shoes. Again, they'll get wet very easy. They're like the plimsolls, but they've got proper tread underneath, which is the main thing, and that's the thing that you want. You can get a whole range. They range from about 40 quid right the way up to 600 quid for a pair of boots. So you know, it's where your budget is. It's like everything else when you're sailing. It's what you can afford, but also you want to make yourself safe and comfortable. There's nothing worse than being on a boat soaking wet, freezing cold, and slipping all over the place. You know, if you're only going to go out in good weather, that's fine. You can enjoy yourself with the minimum amount of gear. But if you want to start being adventurous and going out longer and staying out in bad weather, then you really need to think about the gear you're getting. I'll take you through some other kit now, but that's the main in terms of dress. Oh yeah, finally, gloves. Again, any gloves will do. You go buy sailing gloves and they'll charge you a fortune, but sailing gloves are an asset. These are actual winter gloves because they've got fingers all the way through, but these, you get the ones with the cut-offs here that don't have the fingers on the top, and they're in the majority, but these are winter gloves. These are good. Why do you need these? Because when you're working with ropes, you're pulling the ropes all the time. You know, sheets, you're pulling the sheet in, you're letting it out. You're pulling the sheet in and out all the time. A lot of pressure causes a lot of wear, and therefore that'll be your hands instead of your gloves, and you will get very rough palms if you don't use gloves. Wear gloves, you'll be safer, the grip is better, and it's slightly warmer as well. You know, it's always a good thing to wear decent gloves. You can use any gloves, but again, if you get purpose-made ones, they're more comfortable, they're easier to use, and they do a better job all round. It is not worth getting thin surgical gloves. They'll just wear on your first pull of the rope, they'll just rip. I've seen people with washing up gloves. They last, but they're dead slippy, not easy to get a grip on things, and so they're not really practical. But again, household gloves, you know, the ones that, snow gloves, I've used before today. The ones that people go skiing, you can buy in Aldi for about £9. They're quite good. They get soaking wet, keep you warm though, and you're able to manage them quite well. They're not, if you want to undo a shackle, or you want to do put a split pin in, you've got no chance. You've got to use your hands. That's why these are quite good, because the areas that you're going to be using are your finger and thumb, and you can undo a shackle with those, you know, because it's open. I think I've covered most things. There will be lots of other stuff. As I say, the type of gear that you get is up to you. I'll just show you a variety of other footwear. I used to use sandals a lot. I love them. Problem is you can't buy them now. They're not. To buy quality sailing sandals are not easy to get hold of, but they were great. You could go out in the mud, rinse your feet off when you get on board, and then, you know, they're quite good. I'll just show you a pair though. Right, these are other types of footwear you can buy again. I think these were Aldi again. They're quite good, they're useful, easy to get on and off. Got nice little ribs. They're not that secure on the deck. They are slippy, unless you get quality ones. These I've had for centuries. You might be able to tell. I still use these. These have got little slits, razor slots, and they're really good. When you bend, they open up and they grip really well. They are really anti-slip. I use them most sailing seasons. But the trouble is, you can't buy them anymore, and so therefore I've had to do without. But again, it's your choice. It's your choice on what you want. What I wouldn't do is wear waders. We recommend never to wear waders on a boat, and never to wear shoes with a flat surface and no serrations in it, because that'll slip. You'll find out. Trainers, bit clumpy, you might find it difficult walking around the deck, etc. So they're not particularly good. You can buy wet shoes. Actually, I've got wet shoes, but I haven't got them with me at the moment. But you can buy wet shoes, and they're useful because you can get your feet wet and they stay warm. There's not a problem with wet shoes. They're quite good, they're quite grippy, and they're quite flexible as well. Your feet tends to stink after about a day, but you know, as long as you wash them at the end of the day, you're all right. Okay, we'll move on to the essential stuff now. Whenever you go near water, on water, you need a minimum of a buoyant shade. Buoyant shade is an essential piece of kit. And I say buoyant shade, I only use this if I'm going on the rib. Oops, this is not mine. I would only use this if I'm going on the rib, or I'm going out sailing. This won't fit me, unfortunately. And when I'm going out sailing, I certainly wouldn't be using something like this if I'm going sailing for the day. I would always use a life jacket. On a boat, life jackets are far better. This one's tight. No, this one's not mine either. Because this has got to go over the top of a jacket. Never put them on underneath your jackets. always put these are the last things to go on. Your Boyne shade or your light jacket. As I say, I would only use a light jacket, a Boyne shade, if I'm going out on the rib. Or going out in the tender, rowing boat, something like that, where it's easy to get back into, and if you fall in, chances are you can hold on to the boat, and there should be people with you. Boyne shades are good only if you're in small craft. They are not good for sailing. For sailing, you will need a light jacket. This one's a very old one. I'm going to use this. If we can get it on. Because this has got a phenomenal amount of features. Basically, I mean, obviously this goes around your waist, but I'm not going to put that on at the moment. This is what your light jacket would look like. You can get various designs. I'll show you mine in a minute, but this is an old one, and the reason why I'm showing you this is because if you can get one like this, it's got everything, and I can undo this and put this on and show you. First of all, it's got the auto, which is here, which is a valve. If you fall in, that explodes the light jacket and pumps it up very, very quickly. If that fails, I've got this. Which you can pump up, or it's got a tab which you can also pull, which pumps it up. These are essential, and this one has got a whistle somewhere. Can't remember where the whistle is now. This one's got a whistle there at the bottom, and it's got should have a light up the top here. So when it's submerged, the light comes on and I can access the whistle. The other thing, which I think is a good thing, and I would recommend it for all light jackets, and most of them do have them these days, is a hood. This is a particularly good hood because it covers the whole of your body, the light jacket. The hood stops what's called secondary drowning, stops water splashing up into your face and you're getting wet. One of the things that this doesn't have, which is an essential, is a crutch strap. All of the later ones are fitted with crutch straps. If not, you can buy them as extras, and I recommend that, because what will happen if you fell in, this would just go up and up and up, and in the end you'd end up like that, and it wouldn't be saving you, it wouldn't be doing any good. So it's important that you get a crutch strap that holds this firmly in place, and it helps you sit in the water, and when you're floating, it means that you will always float with your back to the waves, because that's the design of them. You won't float head down. It's very unusual for a light jacket to enable you to float head down. They're designed so that when you go forward, it will swing you around and back onto the surface. That's why a life jacket is critical for sailing. If you go overboard, believe me, you'd want a life jacket on. Things that can happen is a boom comes across, hits you on the head, knocks you out or knocks you dizzy, you fall in, you're face down, you can't get up, all sorts of things. I'm not saying these things happen regularly, they don't, but these things are designed. There was an article in PBO, Practical Boat Owner, a long time ago, that showed a guy coming out of the boat show with £12,000 worth of kit, and he says to his mate, I hope I never have to use this. And it's very true. You pay a fortune for safety equipment that you hope you will never ever have to use, but unfortunately you do need the kit. You will need a life jacket. You can get these from about well, someone showed me one the other day, 30 quid. I'm not too sure I would invest in that. Certainly around 60 quid is fine. And then I would get something like a more expensive one later on. You need to change the oxygen that pumps these up about once every 2 years, or get them tested once every 2 years. But it is important that you do check them out, and there are various ways. There are lots of videos showing you how these all work, but this is mainly saying buoyant shades, great in small craft, light jackets if you're going sailing. This is my light jacket. Love this light jacket. So comfortable, so easy to use. Double clips, make sure they're firmly clipped on. Like with everything, make sure it's all secure. And then here's the crotch straps I was telling you about. Again, this has got double, so it's a bit more comfortable. And everything just clips on, but that's secure. I'm not going to set this one off. You can see I've got lots of manoeuvring, lots of movements in this light jacket. Fantastic. I love this light jacket. Fully equipped. Everything's internal. Obviously, if I fall in, it's automatic, and if not, I pull the cord and away I go. These loops here, they're, if you need to be rescued, you clip whatever the clip is onto there, and you can be dragged up, helicoptered out, whatever. Essential, you know. Again, this has got a hood, it's automatic. This all inflates, the hood comes out, put that over, and I'll be free from all the water going, ingesting all the water. I think these are great. Again, they're expensive like everything else, but you can get cheaper versions, and you can get add-on hoods which are at a belt attached to the side. So £60 light jacket with a £12 hood. Need the hood, you just pull it out and put it over your head, and it's a plastic hood, plenty of breathing holes, but you don't get water in your mouth, which is the main thing. So that's basically it in terms of equipment to sail in and use. They're my choices. Lots of people have different gear. Just have a look around when you're going out. But what I'm saying to you is make sure you've got warm, dry clothing, and also make sure you get stuff that you can put on easily and take off easily, because you will get very hot as well. Okay, what's next? Well, the next thing is you're going to be taking gear out with you. Okay, most of the kit I showed you has got lots of pockets, good things to have, but at the same time you will need to still take gear as well. So there are a variety of bags on the market you can get from about £8 right the way through again to 200 and odd quid, and it depends the amount of equipment you'll be taking with you. I think the main thing is you'll be taking maybe a change of clothes, and also food and drink for the day. That's the important bit. You can buy these. These are quite cheap. These are dry bags. Again, you can get these from Aldi. They're about 12 quid. And you just fold them up, set them up. They'll float and they won't get wet, and they'll keep all your stuff in and keep it dry. You're going to go one better, you can get the rucksack version. It's exactly the same thing. This is a big bag. I mean, this has a lot in, and still got my peak cap. I wonder where that went. So you can get your peak cap in as well. But this has a phenomenon. This is all I took to Scotland. I wore my sailing gear going up in the car, and this was it. This had everything in it: sleeping bag, pillows, everything I needed for the week, some food, and we took the food separately obviously, but had all my clothes in for the week, had all my gear, light jackets, everything all in here. This is a fantastic piece of kit. again folds up and then straps up at the bottom there, and then that's waterproof, will float, got a handle there, you can put it on your back so it takes away the load. Excellent piece of kit, but that's if you're taking a lot on board. Or you can go to the other type, which is a proper rucksack, and this can be used for anything, to be honest with you, walking, anything. The reason I got this is some of the people who know me will know I go through iPads faster than anything, because this has got a hard back to it. So that's a hard back, it's not soft, and that will keep me iPad reasonably safe. It's got pockets inside, don't know whether you can see that or not. Pockets inside, a whole host of kit can go in there, secure pockets. It's got stuff for water at the back. You know, as I say, you can use this for hiking, you can use this for anything, but this is a lovely piece of kit, and if you're not taking a lot out, easy to carry, and something that I purchased mainly to safeguard my iPad and my iPhone and gadgets. So they're the sorts of things. So that's going out. So you got your kit on, you got your bags, whichever bag you design on, and you're carrying that out. In the past, and I keep on saying this, you know, I've accumulated stuff over the years, but in the past I know people to use bin bags, big heavy duty garden bags, you know, as long as they're waterproof, that's the main thing. Because what you don't want to do is, like we've all done many times, drop your gear in the water and then it's useless, and it's expensive as well. If you drop an iPhone or you drop your iPad or your tablet in the water, you know, you've had it, haven't you? So and it's a lot of money to spend out, so it's worth investing in a good dry bag, and that way you're reasonably safe. Next thing, what are you going to need? Well, mainly a radio, and you will need a decent radio. I've got this one, which was my first, that's an Icon, cheap, about 60 quid I think they are. This has done me for about 2 or 3 years now, and it's been really good. Unfortunately now it's developed problems. It's constantly falling in the water. They don't like the water. They are waterproof, they can go in water, but they don't like it if it's constantly being dropped in the water. The one I've got now is the standard Horizon. That's got the volume, it's got AIS on it, it's got waypoints on it, it's got the works on it, to be honest with you. These are things you don't need when you're beginning. It's got DSC, digital select calling. This means that in an emergency, if I press that button for 5 seconds, it will set off an alarm to the Coast Guard. I don't have to speak, I don't have to do anything. They will know where I am, they will find me, you know. So that's a good idea. You can also use DSC to call individuals, just like a telephone, only it's not a telephone, to call other people who've got DSC radios. So it's like a telephone conversation rather than anything else. This is my latest one. Again, it's a bit upmarket, but I prefer standard Horizon. One, they're cheap, they're quality. This one has a higher output than most handhelds. Difference between a handheld and a fixed radio has a greater range and it's more powerful. Handhelds only have a very short range. You'd be lucky on some of these radios if you can get to the point of air or to the other side of the day using handhelds. You will do on your fixed radio, but you won't on your handheld. So it's essential that you get a fixed radio. You do need to have a qualification to use a radio, and you can do that online and then get someone in to assess you, or you can, you know, do a course. We were going to run one, but we didn't have many takers at the time. So if you want to do the course, it's about I think it's about £90 a day. It's a 2-day course, and then there's the exam as well. So, you know, to me, it's a big money making racket, but that's my opinion. But it makes sure you're safe, and it makes sure you're legal. Next on the list is that all essential piece of kit, the knife. You can get a variety of knives on the market. Ones fit, make ropes up with, shackle openers, and then you get blades of various sizes, various strengths, all useful. There are a variety on the market, as I say, quite standard ones, and again, good idea to keep them well lubricated, because the one thing you don't want to do is mess about like this, trying to get that open when you're in a hurry. You know, it's essential to keep them. One thing that is important is you have a fixed blade. A lot of them, cheap ones, just a knife, a simple Stanley blade is enough to cut a rope. In fact, better to cut a rope than most of those blades I've just showed you. These are cheap, from £10 from Aldi again. Excellent piece of kit actually. You know, a lot going for it. The only big problem is that the blade, all blades are not secure. So when they're open, if you slip with them, they'll fold dead easy and take your fingers off. So better to have fixed blades. I've got a Leatherman, I haven't got it with me unfortunately. These are great though, because they've got pliers. The Leatherman has pliers. You can get this Swiss Army knife. You can get the other one I've got as well. It's essential to have a knife. If you don't have a knife, then, you know, if you get tangled up, you might get wrapped around a cable wrapped around your prop. You need to cut it off. You need a knife. You're not going to get it off otherwise. Some people have diving knives, which are quite big. Obviously, they're illegal to carry around on your boat. They are essential. Main thing is they are quality knives. They are good, and they will do all the jobs you want. And I think that's the main thing to look at. Then we move on to things like torches. High-powered quality torch. This one lasted me maybe 2 months, 3 months. Supposed to be waterproof, got damaged, now it doesn't work at all. So it was a waste of money. Over £100, not worth it. This one, Desailing Club, if you won a prize or you did something for the club. Quite good, quite responsive, waterproof again, ideal. This one I've got coming in, this is what you call a powerful light. This has 3 stages and you can use it for anything. This is about £40, but this will light up most of the mornings if you're coming in of a night. The main thing is to see where you are of a night time. What you don't want to do is be shining in people's eyes or shining at boats, because you will inevitably catch somebody, and it will, you know, cause problems, because you have a night, your sight can't adjust that quickly to the bright light, and then back to darkness, and you need it. You need to be able to see in the dark. And then finally, binoculars. There are a variety of binoculars on the market. Again, these were cheap. These are about 20 quid. These are 10.25. Ideal, not brilliant. 10s, you know, quite a lot, quite a high power. You tend to, you know, especially at sea, things going up and down. 10s are about the maximum. Some people have 12s and can hold them steady. I certainly can't. 720s, 750s, 770s are excellent. These are small. I've had these years. These have been my go-to binoculars, and these are quite good, quite handy. Can stick on my belt, and use them whenever I need them. Why do you need them? You need to identify markings on buoys, you need to identify buoys when you're coming in, identify channels, identify debris in the water, just make sure that you can see everything. On the boat I've got a big pair of 750s, so that's a big diameter end lens and 7, and they've got a compass inbuilt so I can take bearings when I'm looking through them. Again, you can get a variety. They vary from about 10 quid, which lasts you maybe a month or so, right up to I think I've seen some around the £1,000 mark. The £99 ones I got, which a few of us have got, ones with the built-in compass, are excellent, ideal for what we want. Again, not essential, not something you need all the time, but it's something you need to think about for the future. Hope that's helpful. Then of course we have other kit. Boat hooks, essential. You need one on your boat to be able to extend. This one's a press button lockable one. Some you unscrew, and I'll show you that in a minute. But they're an essential piece of kit. Need those to pick up your mooring, to pull yourself in along shore, alongside another boat, alongside a quay, whatever, you will need one of those. This is one of those unscrew ones. Here, pull that out. This is a good one actually, and the reason why it's designed like that is this also acts as a paddle. This one's Gary's, I borrowed off his boat a while back, but it's an excellent piece of kit. I've got one of these now and it's a lot smaller. I haven't seen one this size, but these are ideal. You can get hold of one of them, you kill two birds with one stone. Ideal piece of kit. And then, because I love my gadgets, how do I keep them safe? You can get a plastic bag. You can get waterproof frames for them, for iPads, for iPhones. This one I particularly like, it's about 20 quid I think. This seals, put the iPad inside and you can operate the iPad from here. You can see it clearly and it's no problem to use. It's good access. Having lost 3 iPads in less than a year, I decided to invest in one of these. An iPad, the iPhone, or most of your tablets these days, most of your phones these days will be waterproof. Unfortunately with the iPad, it's not waterproof and it's an expensive piece of kit not to be waterproof. So you need to protect it. The same with some of the tablets. People put plastic bags over them. They're great, but they're all wrinkly, the plastic bag. You can't quite see them. Not very good. I prefer the iPad because it's clear. The iPad Pro you can actually see in direct sunlight, which is a real added advantage, but you're paying a lot of money for that. You can get the standard iPad for about 300, 350 I think it is, and that will do the job, and you can build a hood around it and that will host all your information about sailing, all the kit, all the YouTubes, everything that you need. But also I think the main thing is, as far as I'm concerned, is the navigation software. I use Navionics. I think it's about £34 a year these days. It was only £12 when I first got it, and it was £12 for life then, and then they switched it to £34 a year, sorry. You can only get the areas you sail in now. At one time it used to include all Europe, now it's just the UK and Holland I think it is, or Europe, and then it was great. I used it, I downloaded Greece when I went to Greece. That was great, able to sail around Greece, very detailed, very informative, got all the addresses and marinas and everything like that on it. Or you can have a free version called CMAP. CMAP's excellent actually, it does exactly what Navionics does, just a bit slower, and also sometimes the signal's not good and it doesn't work because it's not loaded onto your hard drive. You download it as you go in most of the time. It can be downloaded, depends on the room you've got, but you know, It's entirely up to you. There's loads of software out there that you can use, but they're the two that I would use and I would recommend. CMAP to start off so you get used to it, and then Navionics if you're happy and you want to do a lot more.